From the banks of Dewey Lake, it's the Dewey Pod Monster.
All right, welcome back. My name is John, and this is the Dewey Pod Monster podcast. This is the weekly and original podcast about consumption. And with me this week is the host of the Dewey Pod Monster podcast. His name is Sean. And Sean, how are you doing this lovely evening, afternoon, morning, whenever the hell people are listening to this?
I'm great. I'm just looking for all these different gymnastic apparatuses around the city that I live to do some gymnastics things.
You'd be amazed how easy they are to find if your life is in danger. There's always gymnastics available.
If you're being attacked by Eastern Europeans.
Right, from Parmesan or wherever.
Right.
We'll get around to that, I'm sure.
East Parmesan, thank you very much.
East Parmesan? I'm more of a South Parmesan guy. I like a little chili flake in there, heat it up.
Mm-hmm.
This is going well. So what have you been watching since we've recorded last?
I dove into a couple things that I've had on my list of things to watch for a while. I watched Arkansas, which I don't know if you're familiar with Arkansas, but Arkansas is a movie, I believe, from the 2020 era, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, like one of those years, like one of those last 3 years that just blend together.
Recent.
Hence 2020 era. It stars Liam Hemsworth, Clark Duke, Vince Vaughn. I think there's some other people in there. Oh, John Malkovich is in it.
Weird cast.
And basically,
usually like him.
He's always pretty good. But it's a movie about basically the Southern drug trade. And Liam Hemsworth is this, I don't know, guy who's working his way up through drugs. And this is Clark Duke. I don't know if you're familiar with who Clark Duke is, but this is his like directorial debut, I believe. He was in Hot Tub Time Machine. He was like the younger kid that came along with him, I don't know if he was a kid in the movie, but Vince Vaughn is this like
kind of a nerdy looking chubster kid.
Yeah. Well, in this movie, he's got an awesome man bun and this really sweet mustache, and he wears like wrestling shirts, and he kind of basically is one of us. I mean, it's okay. It's kind of a comedy, crime, thriller kind of movie, I guess. And Liam Hemsworth, like I said, moves up to the bigger leagues, I guess, or whatever. He has to move out of the little drug area he was in, and he meets up with Clark Duke, and they're these drug runners, and they meet John Malkovich, who is a ranger at a local park who's like basically running this underground drug ring out of this park, but they have to pretend like they're rangers and all this shit. It's kind of really convoluted. The basic story is that Vince Vaughn is this character named Frog, and it goes through these different perspectives of Vince Vaughn's character, like in the 80s, and I think it's the 80s. Jesus, now it feels like I didn't even watch this movie. Why don't you just tell me what the movie is that you don't know anything about, but it's told through flashbacks and stuff.
I'm looking at the cast for it now. It's got Michael Kenneth Williams in it. He's always a good add to any movie he was in.
Yeah, he's not in it that much. He's kind of a player that Vince Vaughn meets when he gets to this area that he settles down in, because I think he was in like Miami or something, and he gets caught up in some bad shit, and he has to leave very suddenly. So it was okay, but I think the problem is it's like 2 hours, near 2 hours long. You can only push that shtick like so far. Liam Hemsworth plays the heavy, he's like the tough guy, and it's okay. It's not the best movie I've seen, but it's definitely not the worst. I wanted to just kind of see it through because I've been sitting on it forever. I watched Blue Ruin again, which I talked about, I don't know, when I talked about that blind movie where Bryan Cranston's the blind guy. That's a cool little crime thriller movie. I just kind of turned that on. I think that was like a back-to-back with Arkansas, so I watched two kind of those crimey kind of movies. Other than that, I really just watched the newest Dark Side of Comedies back on, so season 2. And season 2 started off with a pretty good episode about Robin Williams. There was one thing that was said that I thought was probably one of the biggest reaches of the year that I've heard. And they're talking about Popeye, because Popeye was the movie that really, Robin Williams up until that point was really only known for Mork and Mindy. I mean, he was known for his comedy act and stuff, but his first big role in a movie was Popeye. And the guy says, this is a direct quote, "Popeye was an unsung masterpiece that came out at the wrong time. If you released it now, people would go crazy for it." I just thought to myself, is this guy still doing drugs? Like, who the fuck would care about Popeye in 2023? Popeye?
I think people would care about Robin Williams in 2023.
In Popeye?
Just for the sake of argument, let's say there was some unreleased Robin Williams anything. I think people would go nuts for it just because it was it'd be like when Tupac miraculously makes another album, even though he's been dead for 20 fucking years now. I think people would go nuts for it the same way. Now, whether or not that would be good or relevant because it's Popeye, different conversation. But I think people would go nuts for it just on the fact that Robin Williams is in it.
Okay, but unsung masterpiece? Okay. I rest my point.
I had to be like a little kid when I saw that movie, but I want to say like under 10, and I don't remember giving a shit about it then. I liked the cartoon Popeye as a kid, but I can't imagine. I know I've seen that and was like, why am I watching this? This is fucking dumb.
I should have said I rest my case, because I rest my point doesn't really make sense. But like the only time I ever watched
Semantics.
Yeah, right. The only time I ever watched Popeye is when there wasn't shit else to watch.
Cartoon or the movie?
No, I couldn't tell you. I probably watched about 20 minutes of the movie when I was about the same age you're talking about. The cartoon. Like, that's like some Channel 20 shit on Sunday at 3 p.m. Like, oh, I guess Star Search is over. I'll watch Popeye. You know, it's like, I'm not going out of my way to watch that either.
That all you got this week?
Yeah, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. We'll start watching a documentary about Hurricane Katrina, which I think it's called The Last Refuge. And it's a guy that he filmed like right around downtown New Orleans just before Hurricane Katrina hit and then directly after, because he was kind of stuck in the city, but I'm only like 20 minutes into it. It's only an hour long. It's on Amazon Prime for free. Well, not for free if you're a Prime member. And I think it's on Tubi with ads, maybe. Seems interesting.
Could be depressing.
Yes, depressing and interesting.
You got a minute? Because I watched some shit.
Yeah, I got a couple minutes. Got something big to talk about, but I mean, we can talk about shit you watched, whatever.
Yeah, I'm full of all kinds of piss and vinegar. So starting with a couple things I rewatched, I went and saw Scream in a theater. They were replaying it at some of the local theaters here. So for $5, I was more than happy to kind of load up and go see that. And one of the things I got to say I really, really liked about seeing it in the theater is it wasn't like a remastered or recut, or it was like, I'm sure it's not, but it's like they found the original film copy from 1996 or had one. And that's what they were showing because, you know, I own that movie on a couple different formats. And I can tell you the Blu-ray that I have looks a billion times more clear than what I saw in the theater about a week ago. But I kind of love that because I was like, God, this kind of has that like 1996. It looks better than an 80s movie. And by better, I mean, you know, technically better, not necessarily aesthetically better. You know, the sound had all the little pops and all the little cracks in it like you would expect from that. I'm not saying it felt like going to a vintage theater type thing because it's 2023. Like every chair is like a fucking recliner with a, you know, vibrator that comes around your ass or something like that.
A boombox in your butt.
Right. But it was cool to see it and see that they didn't, that they, again, it's been so long since I can compare from the first time I saw it, but it felt like the original cut to the film. I don't remember seeing anything popped out like, oh, that was a deleted scene or whatever, you know, that type of shit. So that was really cool.
Where'd you see that?
MJR.
Okay.
Theaters around here, they do, I forget what they call it. They're like retro movies or something. They do old movies every week. This month they had The Shining. They did like an Addams Family weekend where they had both or two or three of the old ones that they were playing. Obviously Scream. I forget what the other ones are, but we're going to see, at the time of recording this, it's October 23rd. They're playing Halloween this weekend though, the original one, the 1978 one. So I'm going to watch that there before we go to watch it again at Dog and Pony Show, but that's fine. I can watch that movie twice in 3 days. No big deal. I'm kind of interested to see what cut of the film they use for that, because that's another one that's been, you know, hacked and diced a million different ways and remastered and all that shit. Having seen Scream there now, I'm like, I kind of hope they have this look all like 70s and kind of shitty at the same time, you know?
You would think that they probably have not necessarily the film, because I don't think they're probably equipped with projectors to play that kind of thing, but they probably have some kind of transfer that's directly off the film, so it reenacts that kind of experience. But that's cool that they do that.
Yeah, it is. And they've done, I know last year around Christmas, we went and saw Christmas Vacation, which in my opinion is one of the better Christmas movies out there. We've seen other stuff there that's just been, you almost have to sign up for their email. So it's one more thing you actually have to pay attention to your email for, because they don't really advertise it other than that. But like once a month, you get an email of like, hey, these are the 4 to 8 old movies we're going to play throughout the month. And the other thing that's really cool about it is it's only $5 a ticket. So you're not paying, it's almost like you're paying 1996 prices as opposed to, you know, 2023 prices, which is a lot easier to stomach than, I mean, I would like to go to more first run movies, like for obvious reasons, but when it costs like $50 for two people to go there, and that's not even counting like a soda or anything like that, it's not as, I'd almost rather wait a week and just buy it on, I mean, neither of us have expressed any interest in this movie, but The Exorcist Believer came out, I think a week, maybe 2 weeks ago at this point in theaters. It hits digital tomorrow. So
No shit, really? God damn,
yeah,
man.
I saw that earlier today. I was like, and again, I'm not saying that in like I want to watch it now. I'm saying like, God, that literally
that's fast.
just hit theaters.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It doesn't really incentivize you to want to go see it in a theater that much.
When I was still going to the theater quite a bit, when I worked near one, like a 10-minute drive, I would go right after work for, I guess they're still considered matinee prices, and they were still pretty cheap, like $7.50 or below. And so I would see a bunch of movies just to get away from my family and kids. I'd just do it so I could get out of the house. But yeah, now I rarely see movies in the theater now. And like you said, because the turnaround time is so quick from the time that it's been in the theater to the time that it's going to be home. And I'd much rather just sit and, if I have to take a shit, I can just go and take a shit and not miss anything.
Well, there's that little nugget. Even this movie, like, and in fairness, these little bastards were behaved through this movie, so my complaints almost voided. But we went to see Scream at a 10 o'clock showing, which was the latest showing they had on a Saturday night. And this theater in particular, I only go to this theater because it's close to my house. Like, I don't really feel the need to go drive all over for a theater. But it's a relatively smaller theater. Like, I'd guess like that a full theater, and when they're like big auditoriums, it's like 150 people at most. That might even be exaggerating. This whole fucking row right in front of us, I bought tickets for 10 o'clock on purpose. I was like, hey, less likely to have little bastards in there, right? 8 fucking kids, and by kids I mean under 10. Enough to the point where there's multiple people in the theater like, why are these fucking kids in here? Come walking in and line up in a row. I'm like, God damn it, I don't want, and like I said, my complaints are voided because they actually did behave. But I was like, I don't want to hear these little bastards crying because someone got stabbed in the face or whatever. That's why I'm here.
On the John scale of age, these, to be fair, these were probably like 20-somethings. And you're like, these damn 10-year-olds.
Yes, 20-somethings that are about 3 feet tall and have little blankets and stuffed animals.
Why are you discriminating against little people?
Because they need to grow up and see movies at the appropriate age. I don't know. So anyway, piggybacking off of Scream, that led to watching Scream 2 because, can't have just one, right?
When in Rome.
I kind of followed that up with the original Prom Night, which I forgot how funny that movie is. Especially the head that gets lopped off at the end that just like, it's like a fucking cantaloupe that just gets thrown onto a like disco floor. Pretty entertaining. But I did watch some stuff that I hadn't seen before. Have you caught Totally Killer yet?
I have not.
So I won't spoil it. Are you familiar with the premise of it or anything like that?
No, why don't you just tell me about it?
So it's basically like Back to the Future, but a slasher movie.
Okay.
Is the very, very basic premise. The biggest complaint I have, well, 2 complaints I have about it would be, one, I really wish, because that's how it was described to me, and I was like, okay, well, I'll give that a try.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish that in the movie Back to the Future didn't exist because they referred to it several times. I'm like, I don't like that you did that because that's how it was sold to me, and now you're just like, it felt cheap.
Yeah, you're kind of piling on a little bit. If the premise of the movie didn't exist, it would make it so much more interesting.
Right, or if you just left that part out. The only other thing that really annoyed me about it was it's got, I mean, they're not teenagers in real life, but people playing like 2020s teenagers going back into the 80s, and I complained about this with Bodies also. Like, they're going and they're using 2020s buzzwords like about like personal touching or language or stuff like that. They're calling it out to people in the 80s. And if you know anything about people in the 80s, which I know you do, like personal space and like using proper language was not a thing, You
mean politically correct language or?
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Because proper, come on.
Yeah, so that shit got a little annoying. But other than that, it's been one of the more enjoyable new films. I'd put it even still in my top 3 that I've seen this year. I had it as like I said, this might be my favorite film of the year. And then the next day that got Wally pipped, and I watched Never Hike Alone 2, which I know we talked about this a little bit before. It's one of the Friday the 13th fan films. The first one was, I don't remember when it came out.
Never Hike Alone 1?
Yes.
I'm so clever.
Never Hike Alone 2, though, is very much so like it feels like a Friday the 13th movie. It's Jason killing everything in sight. And I think there might be a boob or two in there. I don't remember that for sure. But aside from having Paramount or New Line or whoever, A24, maybe whoever owns the rights to it now, having their moniker at the beginning and the end of it, it pretty much feels like a Friday the 13th movie. And I could make an argument that might be better than some of the actual Friday the 13th movies, but that is absolutely free. And I would strongly suggest anyone who hears this and likes slasher movies to check that out, because it is worth every penny that you're not going to pay to watch it.
That price, it's like a sore dick. You can't beat it.
Yeah, you can, but you might regret it.
I feel like I say that all the time. I think it all the time. I know that. I might not say it all the time, but I think it.
I got a buddy who literally does say it all the time. And he listens to the show, so he's probably going to know I'm calling him out.
Uh-oh. I'll cut that out.
Yeah, it's fine. No, don't. So the only other thing I watched that was new to me, it's actually about 12 years old. It came out in 2011, was a documentary called More Brains, which is basically telling you all the behind the scenes shit of Return of the Living Dead. Was originally on Shudder, I believe. And it's been out for a while because Brian Peck is still in it. And I don't think they would let him be on it now because he's got kind of a checkered creepo past. But you and I both like behind the scenes documentary type shit. And this goes about as in depth. I mean, I've seen a bunch of like things where different cast members are in different spots talking about Return of the Living Dead. Like it's a pretty well documented film, at least for that kind of movie. But this one really goes, I mean, it's a 2-hour documentary about a movie that's maybe an hour and 20 minutes long. It goes pretty in depth. If you like that movie or you like any of the people that are in it, or just like how that kind of movie got made, it's a easy, fun 2-hour watch. I didn't regret putting that on at all.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch that because I saw that pop up on our local streaming service of choice, and I'm like, I really think I want to see this now, and I just haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet.
When I found it, I was like, okay, well, this is moving to the top of the list, because that like mood when you're like, I want to watch something, but I don't want to watch a movie necessarily, but I'll watch someone talk about a movie for 6 hours. That's kind of what mood I was in.
A 6-hour movie-a-thon about
diatribe.
A movie. Yeah.
All right, so that's all we've been watching. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be talking about the topic for the week, which is the movie Gymkata.
With the holidays right around the corner, you may be in need of some holiday party space. Batch Brewing Company, located in the Corktown neighborhood of Detroit, has space for parties of all sizes. From family-style meals to full-on catering, Batch Brewing Company has you covered. For details and pricing, contact Batch Brewing Company by emailing events@batchbrewingcompany.com. Hey everybody, November 16th at 7 p.m., we'll be showing the 1987 film Chopping Mall at Batch Brewing Company in Detroit, Michigan. Help us celebrate Franks and Steins at Batch. Have a Frank, have a beer, and enjoy some Robots Gone Wild.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, so we're back, and as mentioned before, we are talking about the 1985 movie Gymkata. Gymkata is a movie that has a very good review on it for a third-party review, because that's where we like to start. This review is from Aveda. Aveda says, which I don't even know if that's a name, I thought that was a company, but Aveda says, this movie should really be 4 or 5 stars since it's a great, terrible movie. 1 star out of 5.
Okay. No. Okay. I know we took a break. I want to say this, and I know that review was in jest, but this is just a side thing. I was looking on Amazon, you look at stuff and they have all the reviews, and you look, what is up with people that give like a really shitty review, but they give it 5 stars? Or the
other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have to get into a discussion because it's going to take too much time. But if you are one of those people, or if you know one of those people, can you please contact us somehow through our social media at Dewey Pod Monster, or comment on this episode? Tell us what is the motivation behind doing that? And is it that are you somehow brain deficient, or is it a massive troll all the time? Anyways, Aveda, thank you so much for your short review.
Sean, why don't you tell me what this movie is about?
Yeah, so I'm going to go Pretend that never happened. I'm going to go to our storyline, care of Max Halperin. You can find him at halperin@usc.edu. I'm sure he wrote this fairly recently. He writes, Jonathan Cabot is a champion gymnast in the tiny yet savage country of Parmesan. There is a perfect spot for a quote-unquote Star Wars site. For the U.S. to get this site, they must compete in the brutal game. The government calls on Cabot, the son of a former operative, to win the game. Cabot must combine his gymnastic skills of the West with fighting secrets from the East and form Gymkata.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Yeah. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. Let's break this down. So for our younger listeners who might not know when I said quote-unquote Star Wars site, Star Wars was a thing that Ronald Reagan kind of wanted to introduce or wanted to fund, and it never really got funded, but it was like a from space missile defense system that would be able to shoot down like Russian missiles that were trying to enter the country. That was like the dream of it. So it was really important at this time for them to get Jonathan Cabot in there to be able to secure a spot in Parmesan because it was located, near Russia. So maybe we should get a little bit more into this. And do you mind if I just kind of run with this for just a second?
You go as far as you want to run.
Okay. So this movie doesn't really have any stars in it, but the ones, well, anybody that you recognize.
Whoa. This movie has like buffed up wearing a towel Tom Green in it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we do also have Richard Norton, right? Richard Norton's been in a lot of crummy movies. So if you're a crummy movie aficionado, you might not know him by name, but you would definitely recognize him. He plays Zamir. And the other person that this movie was kind of banked around was Kurt Thomas, who plays Jonathan Cabot. And just to kind of give you some background, Kurt Thomas was a gymnastics phenom in the late 1970s, early 80s. He won gold medals at the Gymnastics World Championships, but he was unable to compete in the Olympics in 1980 because the U.S. boycotted the 1980 games because they were in Moscow. So that adds a little bit of this kind of Parmesan Star Wars mythos to it. And because of the strict rules that amateurs had in the Olympics, he had to give up his amateur status, and he had to, you're an amateur, you couldn't make any money doing your shit, right? So he becomes a professional. And this movie was part of that. And I think that the producers or whoever casting wanted to kind of bank on Kurt Thomas's name to kind of film this amazing movie called Gymkata. And Kurt Thomas actually tried to make a comeback for 92, which I think was in Atlanta, right? 92 Olympics were in Atlanta.
That sounds right.
He actually qualified for the trials, the Olympic trial team, but he ultimately didn't make the squad. So a little bit more background. I've talked a lot. I've monopolized this conversation, but I'm like a very big advocate for this movie. And are we calling this Ninja Movie November? Have we come up with Ninja November? Are we going to follow that?
I don't know if we're going to go all
Big
month, but we can go with it.
From John on Ninja November. He's like, fuck. No, thank you.
There's one movie that's about a murdered turkey that I really kind of want to talk about around Thanksgiving.
Maybe we do a special Thanksgiving episode. We haven't determined that yet.
Yeah, because that's just what people want to do on Thanksgiving is listen to these two dipshits talk about a turkey.
A murdering Thanksgiving turkey. Yeah, of course. I'm glad we're jumping ahead of the game here. Oh, the game. So let me tell you a little bit more about the movie, the premise of the movie. We had that little, our friend Max Halperin, he wanted to give us a little insight. No, that's okay. He wanted to give us a little insight on the story, but the premise of this movie follows that Most Deadly Game kind of storyline. It's actually based off of a book. So the Most Deadly Game is the thing where people hunt other people. The book, at the end, they tell you the book, it's called A Terrible Game. So it's not the most dangerous game, but it's definitely a terrible game. And the idea is that they're going to send in a gymnast to this foreign mountain nation, Parmesan. What are you laughing about? God damn it, let me just finish my fucking soapbox about Gymkata.
I'm not a gaming type of guy. Like, I don't play video games. I don't do games like board games or any shit like that. But if you were trying to pitch me a game and you're like, it's called A Terrible Game, that probably would have my interest about as much as any piece of shit movie or like however you want to define it. You're selling me on this game by calling it a terrible game. Like, really, I'll be the judge of that. So
here's this book. It's called A Terrible Book. Watch this movie I've made. It's called A Terrible Movie.
Yeah, a terrible book just sounds like homework. I don't want to do that. But a terrible game or a terrible movie, yeah, my attention.
Okay. Well, hey, we're talking about this today. So they send him in, and by winning the game, the person who wins escapes with their life and one request. Well, they want to send in Jonathan Cabot so that his request can be so that Americans can set up their little site for Star Wars there. And the game itself is basically like American Ninja Warrior, but the penalty for falling into shit is death. And you're also hunted by people that kind of look like ninjas that are also known as warriors. They chase the players and attempt to kill them before they can finish this elaborate obstacle course. And a little bit of backstory, no foreigner has won the game in 900 years. But John Cabot ain't no regular foreigner. He's some Olympics dude. That's my pitch, my elevator pitch for this movie.
You know what I really like about this movie?
What's that? Tell me what you really like.
Seemingly out of nowhere, people get shot with arrows on a really regular basis. Like, they're just walking through the market like, oh yeah, you got to be careful here. Americans, they don't take too kindly to, and all of a sudden, it's not even like, I mean, I guess it's a full-size arrow, but there's like a solid 2 feet of neon red arrow sticking out of this dude's chest, and there's not a Wilhelm scream through this movie, like,
But pretty goddamn close.
but there's a whole lot of like Wilhelm impersonators.
Is that Hulk Hogan thing where he sold the spaghetti?
Exactly. There's a whole lot of Wilhelm imposters out there just making all these random off mic screams that are kind of actually piggybacking off what I really like about this movie, aside from the random arrows that show up in people's chest or
Backs,
stomach or balls or wherever. The sound engineering in this movie is fantastic.
Oh, I got to stop you. I have to stop you because I have to talk. One of the notes that I took I'm so entranced by all the arrow effects. I don't know how the hell they do them.
Oh, yeah.
But these things, I mean, there's like a shot at the beginning where a guy gets hit with an arrow from like 5 feet maybe. And it's like, how did they not shoot a real arrow into this guy? But the other thing is they took the Foley work in this movie, like they took it the most serious of anything, because it can be so overpowering at times that you cannot even hear the dialogue, that there's like footsteps or somebody sloshing water or just the silliest thing that you wouldn't miss if it wasn't there is overpowering to the point where you can't even hear the dialogue in the movie at points.
Every punch or kick sounds like a million bullwhips all cracking at the same time.
This person
every
took
single
their shit
one
serious, man. This is Foley work. God damn it.
I mean, and really, like, pro con here, like, the dialogue in this is not exactly stellar to begin with.
No.
In fact, I found myself going through most of this movie like, do I care what's happening? Oh, look, there's a conveniently placed piece of gymnastics equipment again for him to bullwhip punch his way out of like 50 dudes who are all trying to like fuck him up.
Yeah.
In his white sweatpants that stay remarkably clean for how much he's rolling around in the dirt.
On that tip, like there is a scene, and I would be remiss of not mentioning the scene later in the movie where there's a conveniently placed pommel horse in the middle of the town square where he just beats up all the town of the crazies or whatever it's called. And they just keep coming and he's just doing these scissors and whatever the hell
scene goes
other
on for like 5
exercises he
minutes.
does. Yeah. No, it's great. It's amazing. Love it.
It is. And even when it's not something as obvious as a conveniently placed pommel horse, it's like, oh, well, you're running away from random bad guys and there happens to be a bar where you can go and essentially reenact the opening scene where you're on the
parallel bars or whatever.
I'm not
something.
I'm not a gym.
Same.
We're not a gymnastics podcast.
We do not have bodies of gymnasts.
Oh God, no. I watch it about every 4 years when the Olympics are on, but I don't know that much about it.
You know, there's like sports that you watch and you're like, I could do that. Like you watch curling and you're like, I could do that. Or you watch, I don't know, something. Gymnastics is never a sport where I've ever said to myself, I can do that. So
no.
Kurt Thomas is a fast motherfucker, man. He has to run a lot in this movie. And there's this whole kind of subplot between him and the princess of Parmistan, who is half Indonesian, and her dad, who is the Khan or the king, is like a short Jewish guy with a really horrible comb over. And I don't see how the genetics work in this example. I'm not trying to call anything out, but the daughter does not look like the dad. It's possible
that there might be an adoption going on here, just maybe. And more power to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is actually a few decent gore scenes in this movie that I didn't expect coming when they pop up. There's a dude who is arrowed and pitchforked and looks like javelined or something like that this dude is like propped up to this door like with several
impaling
projectiles
weapons
that have been impaled in him. And you get a good look, like you walk into this scene and there's a dog like looking up what we see is blood,
with excellent Foley work. I thought a dog was in the room.
a very mic'd up dog. Well, I always have dogs in my room, so that didn't throw me off that much, but
like, what are those dogs licking up? Oh, wait, that's on the TV.
right. And it just leads to this borderline horror movie shot of this dude who is just essentially crucified to this door through with various objects. And our hero, Jonathan Cabot,
Yes.
doesn't seem to give a fuck about it. So,
Not really. He's not very reactive to a lot of things. The villain of the movie is this Zamir character who is the aide of the Khan and who is pretty much destined
he
to...
looks like buffed up Tom Green.
And he has an awesome... That's Richard Norton. And he has an awesome little braid that seems to get thicker and wispier as the movie goes on. It just kind of gets interchanged. But there's a scene where the Khan announces the marriage of his daughter and his aide, Zamir. And Zamir comes out and he takes his Raphael Ninja Turtle size and he's doing this little his little routine, his kata, not a gymkata because only Jonathan Cabot can do gymkata, but he does his little kata and he throws these size at John Cabot sitting there calmly. And the thing, it's like you can tell it's a picture or something. They took a picture of him and then they like ripped half the picture off and they put like a board with some fur on it, and he throws the size and they just go like in a straight line right into this board and there's no reaction at all. He's just like stone. He's just a stone cold killer. No training other than the montage at the beginning. But there's this middle scene where the princess gets kidnapped while they're kind of like waiting to get into Parmistan because they had to stop over in some other place, like it's a midway point or something for the night.
McDonald's.
Yeah. And this is another one of those scenes where it's like they use the same town as they used for the pommel horse scene, but they just turn the lights on or something. And it's this feeling almost never ending alleyway chase, Keystone Cops, Tom and Jerry, open the door, close the door to this place and run through the hallway, Scooby-Doo shit.
It's got a little bit of, I was going to say, it's got a little bit of Scooby-Doo-ness to it. So.
It's hardcore Scooby-Doo vibes, and they're like firing at the two of them, Jonathan and the princess, with machine guns and shit, and they can't hit them. But all the people in the background that are just like residents, they have no reaction. They're just like, oh, that's just another day here in wherever the fuck we are. Parmistan, outside of Parmistan.
Provolonian, all the cheeses.
All of the cheeses are contained.
I will say that although I found the fight scenes to be incredibly ridiculous because they're this mix of, they're Gymkata. They're karate meets like acrobatic gymnastics. Like it looks utterly ridiculous, but it's clear they they choreographed everything to this guy's
athletic ability.
Right. And it works in that sense. Like from a practical sense, you're watching this and you're like, what the fuck? There's no way any of this would work. Oh, that's convenient. Another pommel horse or whatever for him to go.
Or
right. Or a springboard or whatever like, oh, that's convenient. The fucking I don't know my gymnastics stuff. Not the bars, the
rings?
Yeah, there you go.
They're literally rings. Just hang from ropes. I don't think there are any ring scenes in the movie, which is a little disappointing now that I think back about it.
No, there's not.
But there's the main event. I don't know if you caught the little the blooper or the outtake or whatever that they kept in the movie where they're riding off on the horses, and there's a guy who has his back turned and he's just kind of like, he's waving, he's got a big grin on his face, he looks like he's like gonna start glad handing, and the horse that one of the guys is on totally runs into him and just he goes face first onto this stone road basically, and the guy that's riding the horse is just one of the actors. He's like one of the contestants, and you can tell he's like, oh my god, are you okay? But he's on top of this horse and the guy's just in the fetal position while everybody else just rides away. They're like, doing little
okay, no, I missed that. I might have to go back. I might go back and watch it just for that.
I'm sure it's on YouTube, and I will link to it in the notes with a timestamp of the actual video. I went and rewound it. I've seen the movie a few times. I went and rewound it. Like I was laser focused on this scene. I had to see the guy just eat shit. But the other part is that when they start the game with John Cabot and all the other people, these guys, Kurt Thomas at the time of this movie, he's probably in his maybe mid-20s. And there's an Asian guy who's like younger and he's in good shape and he's like leads the pack for most of the race until the crazy town. But all the other guys that are running this race.
He's well, I don't know what he was in, like, his character was, but he was born in 56, so he would have been...
He would have been probably, 85.
He
So
would
he
have
would have
been
been
31.
Yeah.
Or no, 29.
Yeah, 29. Math. It's tough. But all the other people running this race, they look older than I do. They're all these middle-aged, like 40-year-old dudes. Just, they all got their jogging suits and shit on. One guy has like his Steve Austin, $6 Million Man blue jumpsuit, and he gets taken out.
It's like you were going to say WWE Championship
Stone Cold
belt.
Steve Austin. Yeah. Black leather vest on.
Yeah. Iron Sheik shows up and shows everyone how to Gymkata.
Yeah, with his curled shoes. I just love one-take movies like this. I mean, this is like the definition of a one take. All right, good enough. Move on. We got $50. We gotta finish the scene. And this is an MGM movie. This is like an 80s MGM movie. I don't know what the budget is, but it feels like they put a lot of time and effort into the movie, and they really do show off Kurt Thomas's like athleticism. He might not know karate, but he does a pretty he's like tumbling all around. He's doing backflips and twists and shit. People are kicking at him, and he's doing burpees and all over the place. It's just like nuts. I'm out of breath watching the guy do all this shit.
They don't have a budget on here. I can tell you that it grossed $5,730,000.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, $5,730,000 worldwide. So
worldwide, yikes.
It's for what it is. It looks fine. I mean, truthfully, if you like, I say this with all due respect, if you like cheesy karate movies and ninja movies and stuff like this,
this
is gonna be right up your alley. Like, there's nothing about this that, if you compare this to some of the other ones we watch, like Perfect Weapon or Undefeatable or whatever,
don't sully those movies. Okay, you've redeemed yourself. What
were you?
I said don't sully the names of those movies and say that they're not good.
I was gonna say it's equally entertaining, cheesy. It's I don't want to say it's the same thing, because it's not, but it's the same vibe in that if you had fun with those kinds of movies, there's no reason you wouldn't at least find stuff to like in this. And it's really like one step down from a Seagal or a Van Damme movie, where they just kind of take all that and inject steroids into it and, move it to that next notch, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty, to be honest, that's almost kind of a compliment to the movie, because if you think about it, not all those, but up until a certain point, Seagal movies and Van Damme movies and Dolph Lundgren and all those kind of action hero-y martial arts movies were in theaters. Like, they were, even during the video era.
They're huge hits. Yeah. I remember seeing the fucking Hard Target poster in my video store for like 6 years.
And that was like the last one, I think. That was like the last big one for Van Damme. I think it had a lot of cachet behind it.
I thought was that before or after Bloodsport?
Oh, that was way after. But Bloodsport was before he was like a Hollywood dude.
Oh, was it?
And
okay.
Hard Target was, I'm playing a French character for the 10th time, but I'm from the United States. I'm just from New Orleans.
I'm not the biggest Van Damme expert, if you haven't noticed.
We haven't talked about one.
I know. I didn't say I don't like them. I said I'm not an expert.
We're missing that demographic, those Van Damme fans. Van fans.
Because if our Seagal accents are any indicator, I'm sure our Van Damme accents will be just as fucking wonderful.
I wouldn't disrespect the man like that.
Yeah. Well, he makes whiskey. He makes Irish whiskey now. Go figure that one out. You got anything else you really want to add on this one before we start kind of moving towards hot dog territory?
Oh my God. Do I? No, not really. Yeah. The other thing is this movie, there was an internet poll on Warner Brothers and Amazon way back in 2006 that brought this movie to DVD. Before that, VHS only. So I don't think there's a Blu-ray release though, but you can watch this movie if you're interested. You can pay $2.99 and rent it on Apple TV, or $2.99 and watch it on Google Play or Vudu or Hoodoo or You Don't Dare To, and you can buy it
for the bizarre price of $3.19. You can rent it on Amazon Prime.
Exactly, the place that brought it on to DVD, or you could buy it for like about $10.
Why 19 cents? That's a weird. Anyway,
escaping taxes, I guess.
Sure. All right. You want me to start on this one?
I think you should.
So, as you can tell, Sean has a little bit more excitement about this movie than I do, and that's okay.
Hey, there's always a wrong opinion. It's okay. Okay to be wrong. It's a safe space for you.
I didn't say that. Okay, I'm wrong, and that's fine. I can safely say that Kurt Thomas clearly would have preferred to be in the movie Gymkata as opposed to competing for a gold medal back in 1985. I can say that with 100% certainty. In fact, he probably wouldn't have competed in 1985 because that wouldn't have been an Olympic year, but that's a different conversation.
Technicalities.
Yeah. This movie's, at the end of the day, it's fine. I don't want to say it's your standard run of the mill, like, ninja movie or whatever, because that's really not fair to the movie. Like, it is in a lot of ways. If you were to say, like, what's your idea of like a B ninja movie, this is kind of what I would think. But if you have a fascination with gymnastics, bad haircuts, and really over the top arrow usage and sound effects, you'll get a few laughs out of this. It's worth watching. I don't know that I would pay $3.19 to watch it. Maybe if we rounded that down to $3, but at the end of the day, I'd give it 5 wasted gold medals out of 10 well mustarded hot dogs. I'm not mad that I had to watch it, but I'm also like in no big rush to go back and watch it for a second time, other than to see this guy fall off his horse.
Well, no, he gets knocked down by a horse.
Whatever.
But, 6 of one, half dozen the other, right? Would you say you would give it
injuries?
5 boycotted Olympic Games out of 10 well-mustard hot dogs?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, for me, Gymkata is like, you said B-tier ninja movie. I think all ninja movies are kind of B-tier. This is almost C-tier. It's like even lower than some of those. It just happened to squeak into like a major...
Wait. So when do we get into
release?
our D and E tier stuff like we do with horror movies? Or is that not part of Ninja November?
No, that's like the stuff that's super under the radar. That's like the Godfrey Ho kind of stuff where he took like 10 movies and cut them into 11. They don't make any sense at all.
We've already dabbled in that. So
we got the best of Godfrey Ho with Undefeatable, and it's only down from here with that movie.
I'm on a side note real quick.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear someone say "see ya" anymore, I can't help but refer in my head to that fucking movie. So thank you for that.
It's done its job, and so have I.
Yeah,
my work here is done.
It is much like that laundry hook. It is implanted in my brain, and I can't see past it now.
Off to my home planet now. Thanks for listening. No, but so yeah, but Gymkata, like, it's so goofy, it's so ridiculous. It's fun for fun's sake. It's not a movie that you'd ever watch and criticize seriously. I don't think that when they made the movie, they probably thought this was going to be the start of a franchise, or, the end scene is just a freeze frame with saying, yeah, he did a good job, and they put the thing here and missiles. That's pretty much verbatim. It might as well just say that on it. For me, it's just a fun movie. Like, if you're going to watch ninja movies or martial arts movies from the mid 80s, this is the kind of vibe you would hope to capture, because it could be done really wrong. And Kurt Thomas, again, having that athleticism that you don't necessarily see. You see guys do the flips, you see him do the jumps and all that stuff in ninja movies, but this guy he had no body up, like no stunt double. He's doing all this shit himself. So it is very impressive to watch him do this, but again, conveniently placed. Pommel horses and uneven bars.
I want to see a stunt double try to do some of these things.
Yeah. I don't know if he became, I don't know what happened to him after this movie. He did pass away, I believe, in 2020 from something. I have no idea what. But the Gymkata, just to wrap it up, I love trash. Gymkata is the kind of trash that I like. I give Gymkata 7 deadly head scissors of doom out of 11 hot dogs.
I forgot about that. The deadly head scissors. So, anyway.
He does so many different scissors. He does the scissors on the uneven thingies on the pommel horse. He does the head scissors of doom. He's got the total package.
He's definitely a scissoring expert when it comes to his package. No doubt about that. So,
guy's package loves to be scissored.
Sure does. So that is going to lead us into the question of the week. So this week, our question of the week is, in honor of Ninja November, what are some of your favorite ninja movies?
Is it official? Ninja November official?
Well, that's how we wrote the question.
Nice. So I guess it must be official. Well, goddamn. I'm so fucking jazzed.
Next week, we'll be talking about Black Devil Doll from Hell, the other one that we haven't done yet. So.
No, it's not a ninja movie. We can talk about Black Dynamite. That's kind of a ninja movie. Black Dynamite.
You like that movie?
Yeah, it's a good one. Anyways, question of the week.
All right. So first answer comes from Pearl at HiskyFaceX, and she says her go-to movie is Kung Pao, and included gif of some guy looking at some Hooters. So that's good. She said, really though, probably Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2 are my favorites, which I haven't seen Kung Pao. At least I don't think I have. Is that a recent movie? Like, it's
90s.
Okay, maybe I have seen that.
Oh, it might be either late 90s or early 2000s. We'd have to look it up. But it was in that kind of era.
Hard to really argue with those two Tarantino movies. Those did. I enjoyed the hell out of both of them. Let's see. Who else is in here? Our friends over at Dissect That Film said, Cowabunga, and is referring to the original Ninja Turtles movie, which would have been 1991, 92, something like that.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, early 90s, I'm assuming. Weird Walter at Walrus90 also said Ninja Turtles, and I think this is the same movie. I don't really know. There's just two turtles doing weird things in gift form.
It could be a lot of things.
Podferatu, Nosferatu, Podferatu. I kind of dig that name. That's fun. I believe this is a Chuck Norris movie. It's called The Octagon.
Yeah.
I can't really read
so.
the people on there, but this poster looks like something between ninjas and rollerball, which seems like it could be entertaining. Let's see. Our friends over at the Grace Tap Room from Mike said all the Surf Ninja movies. Surf Ninjas 3 Ninjas, 3 Ninjas Kickback, and the first 2 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. Let's see. Dave over at Leprechaun 1981, and it's spelled interestingly, said Kung Pao. So the second one on that.
Wow.
Yeah. Freddie Beans at Freddie Beans 13 said Ninja Scroll, Ninja Assassin, and I also love Ninja 3, The Domination, but that's more of a guilty pleasure.
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
You went on about that before.
We're going to talk about it. That's part of Ninja November.
Oh, good. And then last is Scotty Knows Stuff.
That was convincing, by the way. Oh, good.
I'm thrilled. My nipples are erect with pleasure.
Oh my gosh.
Ninja November.
Don't stand up.
Ninja nipple November? Sure. Anyway, Scotty Knows Stuff at Scotty Knows Stuff says, pray for death. And there is a ninja jumping over something. That's all we had on the replies this week. Sean, what is, what's the question here? What is
my favorite
some
ninja
of your
movie?
favorite
Some
ninja
of them.
Movies?
I like the Ninja series. So, of course, Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, Ninja 3. Great movies. I really enjoy, well, maybe not a ninja movie so much. I really enjoyed Shogun Assassin, which is, it's the whole kind of baby cart series out of Japan. And it's kind of a copy paste kind of deal that they made from the first 2 baby cart movies into this Ninja Assassin movie. It's one of those movies where it's more about samurais or Ninja Assassin. I'm sorry, Shogun Assassin. It's one of those, it's obviously about samurais. And it's one of those movies where like when they cut people, you just get that like spray of blood. So kind of reminiscent of Kill Bill, how all that blood is in there. That's kind of the same kind of deal. Yeah, those are off the top of my head. Those are some of my favorites. I love Shogun Assassin. Like if I was going to get a tattoo, there is like a design in Shogun Assassin that I was going to get a tattoo. So that's how much I enjoy that film. Maybe that'll be part of Ninja. They're not really ninjas though, so I don't know. There are ninjas in the movie though.
I've not seen this, but I want to see this movie Ninja Terminator. It is on Tubi, so maybe I'll check that out just because it's called Ninja Terminator.
Okay, let me look that up on IMDb because I think that's part of the. I just have to see the poster.
1985 as well.
Yeah. This is a absolutely 100% Godfrey Ho movie, and you will hate it. You will absolutely hate it, but maybe you should watch it because of that.
You do enjoy inflicting pain sometimes, so.
Sometimes.
As the resident ninja idiot, I'm going to say the best ninja movie is clearly Beverly Hills Ninja because that is the only ninja that looks like a ninja that I could do some of the things they're doing on camera.
It's that whole Olympics thing. I could do that.
Yeah, exactly. I actually might be able to do 1 or 2 things that Chris Farley does or did. So, but I don't have a whole lot past that. I don't know. I like Kill Bill a lot. Those are great ones. I guess I like I said, we've talked about it before. I like a lot of the old Shaw Brothers stuff. I really like the movie City of Violence, which I feel like I brought up on here before.
I think so. You never saw any of the American Ninja movies or any of that stuff?
I might have, but they might have just kind of all bleeded together for me. Like so don't get all pissed off at me for this because I'm
mad.
probably going to piss you off here.
I'm steaming.
A lot of, and I'm sure people feel this way about horror movies too, but a lot of the like ninja movies and the like martial arts movies and stuff like that from this time period, I find them all to be entertaining and I'm more than like fine to sit down and watch them. But as far as like differentiating them, telling them apart and stuff, they kind of tend to blend together to me. It's a lot of kicking and a lot of like, shit like that, which is fine. But that's why it's not one of my favorite genres, is because I have a hard time picking it apart when it's just all a bunch of dudes wearing like black jumpsuits and kicking each other.
We're going to watch American Ninja.
Great. All right. Well, I think that's all we got then. It sounds like we'll be back next week to talk about American Ninja or maybe something else. I don't know. I'm not in control this month, it sounds like. So if there's other ninja movies that you want us to talk about, you can let us know. We might be done recording Ninja November by the time this episode comes out. that whatever, tell us anyway. We can do this anytime. Where's the best place to tell us what to do? You can boss us around on all these social media platforms. We are at Dewey Pod Monster on X, on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Threads, wherever. If there's a social media platform, we're probably on it. Just search at Dewey Pod Monster. You'll probably find us. You can also check out our website at crap.town and our YouTube channel, which is getting kind of dusty, but maybe we'll find a reason to get back on there sooner than later. Sean, what do you have going on that you want to talk about?
Well, I was going to say, if you want your answer to the question of the week answered on this show, follow us on all those social media platforms that John just mentioned, because we post them so that you can answer them. Otherwise, you can find me and my Michigan craft beer adventures at Draft Therapy, or on my YouTube channel at youtube.drafttherapy.com.
So yeah, that's what we got for this week. I'm going to go Chris Farley my ass around the house and start kicking at the wall and see if I can replace some drywall. We will see you next week.
Only the good die young. Remember they die to the Dewey Pod Monster Podcast.